What's up, my good peoples? Alright, so before we get into the song itself, no face, no face. Let me kind of talk about something that's been on my mind. I actually have been listening to a lot of Major Look while I've been doing my writing and stuff like that. So I'm mostly actually listening to movie scores these days because I'm kind of in the middle of doing a draft. But this is something that I kind of thought was kind of ill that I didn't talk about when I was doing my video analysis. No, I mean I could literally analyze every second of this video on why it's so damn ill. But there's a lot of things I didn't mention this, but I actually love this. I mean, you could literally take a picture of this and like hang it on your wall type shit. It's just ill, and there's so much going on. This dude in the corner just like, let's get it in. The Puerto Rican dude, Jungle kind of stepping out behind, from behind his brother. Nas in the shadow, like the street samurai, and I think I posted about this as well. I thought was really dope. Like that's literally what Nas is looking like. You know what I mean? This stuff is ill. No face, right? I mean, again, this is hip hop. Hip hop borrows so much from other things, not just black music, and especially East Asian martial arts culture, right? And that's what makes it so damn ill. This is why, again, when going back to my previous video on Tyler the Creator, when Tyler the Creator says he doesn't listen to Wu-Tang, and well, he's probably lying, or he probably isn't. He's probably he's the kind of cloud chaser, vulture type. If you don't listen to Wu-Tang, it's like, do you even like rap to begin with? How could you not like Wu-Tang? Because again, that samurai shit that is so core to hip hop, that art of competition, that outlaw, because this is an outlaw kind of pose, right? That like, you can't see my face, right? Rap comes from the outlawed areas of the world, right? It comes from the projects where it's full of outlaws. That is an essential part of this rap shit. So you have to play with outlaw imagery and personalities. And when guys like Cole and Kendrick never do that, it makes me go, you're probably not a rapper. You're probably not even really into hip hop like that. You are making music for the casuals, right? Those who are on the outside of this rap shit. Okay, so again, when I see Drake make songs like No Face, and I'm thinking this kind of stuff, it's like, yeah, Drake is plugged into this rap shit. You say what you want about it, he's pop, he has writers, all that shit, and all that's true. But Drake is more hip hop than 99% of these niggas. I've been saying this for a long time, and I'm not the only one who's been saying this. So, let's get on to that. Speaking of No Face, my man, shout out to Flip Scripts. So he sent me this on IG because I wasn't even aware that Arkatech had done a beat for this record. So I heard No Face yesterday, and I was like, oh, okay. It actually has that. It reminded me of that One Day song that he did. I think it was One Day. Pierre did it, right? Also with Cardi. Was it this one? Yeah, a little bit. It has that a little bit.
I just parked my car, hop in on. You gon' get this shit. I'm having one telly piece of shit. Yeah, my brother.
Anyway, I don't know. I felt like this No Face had that vibe, the original No Face beat. But again, it's hard for me to know because when I heard this version, I think this version is way better. Like, this to me. Let's go.
I gotta know how you get let off the nigga you hating on. Numbers untouchable, they got the data wrong. This is the moment I know they've been praying on. Try not to boy off, but fuck it, I'm staying on. Oh, keep on.
So I recommend listening to that. Shout out to Arkatech Beatz on this, right? I think this is a much better beat. Just my opinion. And I was surprised. I was like, Arkatech Beatz. When my man sent it to me, I was like, Arkatech, like the guys that did Self-Conscious? Them niggas? Then I went and it was like, yeah, it is the same guys. If you don't know about Arkatech Beatz, it's two guys. Juggernaut, I believe. Please, y'all, don't kill me. Arkatech, shout out to y'all. Don't kill me for not knowing the exact name. Trauma D, that's right. So there's just two cats, and they've made some really dope beats. They're underrated. I mean, again, there's a lot of great producers in rap. We obviously talk about the Primos and the Pete Rocks of the world and all that, and as they should get credit for what they've done because their catalog is super deep. But you have guys like Arkatech Beatz who have done shit, right? Like, that's the whole thing about hip hop. Like, you can't just, if you were to take Primo out of hip hop would still be phenomenal, right? And that's the whole point. That's why when I see magazines and writers try to dick ride one artist or one celebrity group of people, I almost to the exclusion of everyone else, I'm like, these guys are not hip hop fans. Because what makes hip hop so dope is that there's so many people that have done some really dope shit. Yes, of course, like I said, there are some that really stand the fuck out, and they should get their props for standing the fuck out, but it doesn't mean that they're the only ones that make the culture tick. So, Arkatech Beatz, who just made that beat, did this beat, Self-Conscious, which was one of my favorite rap records ever. Like, this beat is nasty. And it's interesting because when I was listening to the Arkatech beat that they did for No Face, I was like, it kind of reminded me, and it's like that, they have this sort of spiritual exorcise the demons vibe, I think, with some of their best stuff, in my opinion. And I found that also in that No Face. That's why I thought it was like, yeah, I can see this sort of emotional connection, I would say. And I think it's a very ill vibe. And I would love for them to continue to do that kind of stuff. It just works for them. They've done stuff, I'll show you here in a list of things that I love that they've done. Self-Conscious, obviously. Live from New York. Live from New York. That was crazy. The Table is a really dope beat. Again, The Table is kind of in that self-conscious, even No Face kind of mood, I would argue. It's Not a Game. Cream Team is dope. Perb's World. A lot of people don't know about Superb Perb's World, but that's... I didn't even realize now that I think about Perb's World. I used to love this fucking beat. Again, is that... Listen to that. That, like... It sounds like some Exorcist shit, really, when you think about it, right? Come on. So, anyway, the point is, I love when architects get into that particular zone. It just hits me. The rest of these, I don't think I've heard. So they've done a bunch, and they apparently now, like, stay in Atlanta. So they're plugged in with sort of that Southern bounce type shit. And they've revamped, I guess, their production style to a certain extent. But the point is this, man. Those songs that they did, I love those beats. Like, I love Perb's World beat, the Self-Conscious, that kind of vibe. That's them, in my opinion. And I do like that they did this for No Face. I would love to know, Arkatech, if you ever see this video, I'd love to know how that came about. Was that, like, were y'all supposed to do a record together? Like, how did you even get the vocals? Because you're releasing this right now, I don't know. I don't want to put you on blast or whatever, but, I mean, you put it out. So clearly... there must have been some sort of, Drake must have been talking to y'all. And again, this is why I say, man, Drake and his people, they know some rap shit, right? These are the guys pushing it forward, you know what I'm saying? So, I didn't also realize, by the way, on their channel, because I started looking in, and they had been talking about Drake's beef and analyzing stuff. And it's really refreshing to hear industry guys who are there give their opinions. And of course, when they, without agenda, and they're just talking freely, you'll notice certain things, right? So in this video in particular, I don't know which is which, but one of these guys, well, they're both Arkatech Beatz, but one of them is saying, like, essentially, it's very tough for Drake to kind of make that next level of shit because he's not really in competition with anybody, right? Which is true. It's very hard to compete with yourself, right? I mean, rap works best when there's competition. This is literally why we talk about the golden era, when there's multiple guys who are doing crazy shit. So you can't be the greatest. Like, think about it, really. How can you be considered to be one of the greatest rappers ever, whether it be Kendrick or Lil Wayne, when your era was straight garbage, right? It obviously doesn't make any sense. We talk about Nas and Hove and Big, right, being the greatest because that era was incredible. Their competition level was crazy. Lots of people were dropping amazing classic shit, and then they one up those people. So of course they're the greats. We talk about Rakim, Coogee, KRS, Slick, those guys as being goats because in their era people were dropping crazy shit, and they one up them. So again, like, whether you like Kendrick or not, the idea of him being a GOAT rapper is laughable because his era is trash, right? And look, it's the same thing. I wouldn't put Drake as any GOAT either, right? Drake, to me, is not a GOAT level rapper, and I've said this, before, right? Now, has he made hits? Is he? I think I put him on my list in the top 50 somewhere in the 30s and sort of 40s, which is where I'd most keep him, because again, lyrically he can't compete with a ton of rappers from the eras previous. But my point is that it is really hard for you to be great when you have no competition. ASAP Drizzy, the Drizzy that we love, the one that leveled up because of shit like ASAP. ASAP was on his heels putting that hot shit out. Lil B was on his heels putting that crazy shit out. And that's why you started to see Drake adopt Lil B-isms and ASAP Rocky-isms and make better music. If you're not competing with your peers, your stuff's going to be garbage 9 times out of 10. So I agree with them on this. You should watch some of their videos. They're actually really, really dope. And I love their opinions. They're very honest. Now, this one... This is a really good one that I never even really thought about. But let's see what my man said.
If I was on the Drake advisory board, and I keep telling people that we're not on the Drake advisory board and we're not looking to be on the advisory board. But if I was, I would have told Drake not to respond to anybody. Keep doing your billions and billions of streams. And then also pull back your stimulus package.
That's true.
And let these people start to starve. And let these people start to realize that you're the top dog for real. And, if you don't respond, nothing happens. And also what I would have started doing too, I would have started granting media requests, right? Because, he's been real quiet on the media front. He don't normally talk to the media. I would have started giving media requests and, basically grant my media access to certain people. And for the ones that talk reckless, you don't get the media requests. And that's it, And that's the game that's the game that we play. And then what happens is all that other talking, it'll dissipate. If I was,
that's a fact. That's a fact. And this is the thing that is hilarious. Again, everyone with a brain can see that Drake runs shit. That all these dudes. Look at where is Kendrick right now? Kendrick has disappeared, right? This is not no one is looking forward to what Kendrick is going to drop, right? His moment in terms of dissing Drake has now passed. So it's okay, and he's disappeared because he has nothing to put out, right? He's not that ill. He's waiting for Drake to hopefully, or someone, but particularly probably Drake, to come with whatever's the new level, the new hot shit, the new sound, or whatever. So he can sit back and go, oh, how can I jack that? How can I, do a bitch be humble thing, or whatever sort of throwback thing seems to be really popular right now. I'll just do that, and I'll go with throwback on that type of sound. Again, people are waiting for Drake to lead the way, right? The truth is Drake runs the shit. We all know that these without Drake would be nobodies. Drake is the real star. It's so obvious, right? Unless you're literally a Drake hater, which is another version of being a Drake dick rider, right? There's a ton of these. Jealous of the Canadian with the swag that's running shit. So I think what he's saying is absolute facts, and Drake could have actually avoided this in a lot of ways by just not responding. Now, I like that Drake responded because that's kind of rap to a certain extent. It's like if people come at you, you can respond. But again, if you're going to respond, come hard. And I don't think that Drake came hard at all. Again, you know how I feel. I don't feel like either of them came hard. All those disses are forgettable, right? But again, if you're gonna, that's why I thought, listen, Drake, all this stuff that Infinite or Arkatech is saying, Drake could have literally put in one song and just been like, I run you niggas. I mean, he did say those things, but clear it, just sharper, get a great beat, just drop napalm, one-time response, and that's it. Let it be over. But the fact that Drake kept going back and forth with a peon like Kendrick is yeah, you lose when you do that. That's why you have to be very careful when you're top dog about who you engage with, right? Because trolls love to engage with the top dog because the trolls are looking for attention. It's very easy for them. They have nothing to lose. But you have more to lose because you're a top dog. That's just how it is. This is another thing that they made that I think is kind of an interesting point.
I don't like the bullshit, though. I don't like this whole thing where the top guy puts you guys on. The top guy puts you on tour. The top guy gives y'all features. Top guy does joint albums with you. Future. That's not that. He don't have to. He didn't have to.
He didn't have to. I remember back in the day, what was really funny when Drake the joint album of Future, and people were acting like as though like Drake needed that shit. He was like, "Oh, Drake needs Future." Like, word. What alternate reality do you live in?
Let's not act like the top guy did not enhance or extend your relevancy, because a lot of you guys would not have been relevant this long on your run. The music is not that good. The lyrics are not that good. You know, and we see it now. You know, because we see the shift. You know, like, you guys can't get a number one to save your life if it doesn't include him. Right? If it doesn't include him, either going at him or him not on your record, you guys can't get a number one anymore without him.
Yeah.
And that's the point. That's the point that I think is really the issue that I have with it. I just don't.
Yeah. If you're not on the Canadians' tip, literally or figuratively, no one cares about you, right? Come on, man. This is obvious. And again, this is why right now, where we don't even know who's like what song is running the summer. We're all waiting for Drake to kind of come back and, you know, make our summers better. But yeah, all these people have been living off the Six God's blessings. Okay, shout out to Six God. And when Six God is taking a little break, everything feels a little stale, right? Let's be honest. There's no one who's picking up the mantle. Kendrick hasn't done it. If Kendrick was really that guy, Kendrick, after these disses, now that he has the momentum or whatever, quote unquote, on the side, he would have come through, slide off a crazy joint that even me as a hater would be like, oh shit, Kendrick's got it. Because he was really always that guy or whatever. But he's mute because he ain't got it. He's a troll. He's an edgelord. Okay, and there's a fair amount of, you know, especially now with the internet, a lot of these edgelord rappers, but they're trash and they're corny, and they will never be number one. They'll never be that guy as much as they pretend to be, and they hate on the number one guy. We all know that they exist because of the number one guy. And that's that, my dude. Peace.